Hey guys, welcome to your reading for the month of July 2024. My name is Alexa. Today I'm doing a reading for this entire month for all of my signs. So I am going to just move right on into it. I pulled two cards for you guys today. I pulled one from my Oracle deck and one from a Tarot deck. So we are going to start out with Oracle and then move into Tarot and we'll go from there. So my dears, for this upcoming month, main themes to keep in mind is the theme of initiation, and that theme seems to be happening a little bit by rebirth by fire for some of you. So I pulled for you guys the card of Multivite. This card comes up anytime we are moving into something, especially moving into something that is large or involves a lot of change, a lot of shift, a lot of moving forward. And it feels like a lot of you are in this space where this is now the case, or this is now happening. If you are tuning in with this reading, it is very likely that there is an area in your life where maybe some old experiences, some old ways of being, some old narratives, some old, I'm getting experiences honestly larger than anything, but like an old way of being is kind of falling away, and you're being ushered into a new way of showing up, a new way of thinking, a new way of being. And this experience may be scary for some of you. This experience may feel a little bit shaky. You may feel a little bit like, this is a big transition, and it is. It is, for lack of a better word. So whenever this card comes up, some things to keep in mind. New doors open and you cross the threshold. It can be exhilarating to know you are stepping out of the old and into a new self, ready for the unexpected gifts that come with this initiation. Moldavite Spirit's message is to know that as you walk through an open door, you are being reborn in a sense, for you will be different once you have made a conscious choice to say goodbye to what was. This can be kind of tough. Change is the nature of life, but change is also very hard for a lot of people, especially adapting to change. And my encouragement for you in this upcoming month is, if at any time this feels like it's producing tension, it's producing struggle, it's producing stress or fear, just know that rebirth always involves these kinds of emotions, and crystals can only form if there is plenty of pressure to change. So if you feel frustrated or uncomfortable, know that relief is on the way. And just focus on what is happening now as a better tomorrow begins to reveal itself. I feel like this is especially the case for those of you who are starting to try to lay foundation for longer term goals. I will speak to that a little bit more because the tarot card that I pulled speaks to that directly. But the main theme for a lot of you, I feel like for this month, is transition and moving into something different and deepening into something different. This could be a career. This could be a relationship. This could be singlehood. This could be a move, a location. There are a lot of different things in your life or areas in your life where this may manifest or this may come up. You may have felt this for a while. This may be a thing that was lurking under the surface and is starting to rise up. This may also be a thing that it feels like it's coming out of nowhere and your intuition is ushering you in a new direction. And either way, that is okay. There is some piece of you that is connected to the reality that you now wish to or are now feeling called to move into. And that's wonderful and that's beautiful. But yeah, it can be challenging and it can be stressful. A couple of things to keep in mind. This may bring you to new groups of people. This may bring you into new ways of living, new ways of showing up. You may have new experiences that differ from what came before, this could be a really good thing. This could be a really scary thing. For some of you, this may feel like it's a bad thing because maybe you loved where you're coming from and you're like, I don't want that to change and I love that. And the encouragement with this card is to know that old friends will be there for you, and those experiences, those are still going to be there for you. But as you're moving into this new phase, new ones are going to appear. So you're going to be drawn into new things. You're going to be drawn into new experiences. That doesn't mean, again, that the old is completely leaving you. It just means that it signifies a chapter where you're now ready to step into something different, which is beautiful. Finally, when it comes to prosperity, the prosperity message of this card, I feel really called to read directly. The appearance of Moldavite Spirit is a sure sign you are closing the door. That feels very strong. Closing the door on the past in some way and stepping into a new you, ready for what lies ahead. You will not be alone, and you will encounter many signs that you have what you need and that your foundation is strong. So again, this may feel like new territory. You may feel a little shaky. But the encouragement is like you've passed the audition, so to speak, like you're ready for this. If you weren't ready for this, you wouldn't be experiencing this initiation. So, so there is definitely a huge encouragement for that for you. Now, when it comes to tarot, my dears, I pulled for you guys the Two of Wands. This card comes up anytime you are experiencing a this or that sort of a moment in your life where you could take one path or you could take another one. with this card, the main message of the Two of Wands is that you are now likely in a place where you're being called to take action on something that feels like it's laying the foundation for something for you in your life, especially something that doesn't, maybe this is something, again, for some of you, this is like an initiation to this, but a lot of you are likely feeling called to evaluate your long-term goals. This card, again, because it's a this or that, you may be contemplating themes of independence or connectedness or restlessness or boredom. You know, like there's kind of this like oscillation between these two different paths, or two paths that could lead you to potentially feel two very different things. And neither one of those is necessarily wrong. So if you're feeling like, oh, it has to be this one, that's not necessarily the case. It's your choice. But you are likely going to be experiencing this like, do I stay? Do I go? Do I do this? Do I do that? Like kind of like a this or that sort of an experience. And if that is the case, that is because you have likely already, with this Moldavite, like you're probably in a position where you have or you are establishing what you want long term. And so now you're being invited to really sit with that and to understand what are the actions that align with that and how can I take those actions. And because this is new territory, again, it might feel a little bit shaky, but a lot of what you're being asked to do and called to move into is planning. This card is really, really big on planning. So for this month, I would definitely encourage you to be focusing on laying the foundation, especially in moving towards the things that you feel like you're ready to move into. This doesn't have to be anything drastic, but with the Two of Wands card, just know that like you're not in the state of completion. You're not in the state of picking the fruits, if you will. You're in the state of starting to set down plans and starting to lay down foundation. This doesn't mean that like everything's going to happen all at once and it's going to be super abrupt. This just means that you could probably acknowledge that you maybe experienced a chapter of life or a season of life that you're ready to close out on and ready to move into something different. That doesn't mean that something different has to happen right now and right away, because if it did, honestly, it'd probably be too chaotic. I don't think you'd be ready for it, because part of the readiness for this next phase involves being ready to lay the foundation and the groundwork to move into it. So a lot of you are being challenged to really sit with the planning aspect. Not everything is going to go to plan. Just a heads up in case you didn't already learn that about life. Not everything is going to go according to plan, but in that planning process, you will learn a lot about your values, what you want, what you don't want, what's important to you, etc. So I would definitely encourage you to really just spend some time appreciating where you are in this phase and appreciating this shift that you're now moving into, that you have called in, that you are ready for, and potentially are feeling really excited about. So my dears, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have questions on anything, or if anything feels unclear, you want further clarification, please shoot me a message and let me know. You can find me here, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere at alexab.alchemy. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. I haven't done a reading in a while, and it is a little strange, but it does feel good to be getting back into them. I am going to be posting one for the first week of July. That has already been filmed and recorded. So if you're feeling like you need a little bit more specific guidance at all throughout the weeks to come, please make sure that you check back in here and listen to those readings. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers and have a good rest of your week.